Hello YouTubers out there, this is the Entertainment Pipeline Show with your host, Jerry Saravia. So today we're going to discuss two different stories that have been circulating around the entertainment news world for the last week or so. One of them revolving around Man of Steel Part 2, and the other one is referring to Star Wars, although not Episode 7, this is something else. So first things first, we have Jesse Eisenberg, who has been announced will be cast as Lex Luthor in the next Man of Steel movie, otherwise known, of course, as Batman vs. Superman, or whatever you want to call it. But nonetheless, this comes after we heard news that Ben Affleck would play Batman, which was certainly a controversial move. Not still sure about how that's going to work, but nonetheless, Affleck is doing it. And Henry Cavill will do a reprise of his role of, as Man of Steel. Now, Jesse Eisenberg, that's right, Jesse Eisenberg from The Social Network and Adventureland, which I prefer, I think. Adventureland is a very good film. And he also did 30 Minutes or Less, which he wasn't bad in. But this comes as very odd news to me, Jesse Eisenberg. I guess it has to be someone of the same age group as Henry Cavill, and that makes sense. Since it's in the 30-something range. But Jesse Eisenberg, my thing about Jesse Eisenberg is that he often plays a character who, is very fast-talking and full of anxiety and all this, but not necessarily a threatening character. He's just not very threatening, not to me. But maybe he'll show some new light will be exposed on this guy that we haven't seen before. So I'm not totally writing him off, but I think it's an odd choice. Just as I thought was odder, or more odd, I should say, was Ben Affleck, who I think doesn't have the chops to pull off a Batman character. And the only reason I say that is not because it's Batman and what's the big deal, it's because of who has played Batman in the past. Now, there's been issues with Michael Keaton doing it, and that didn't turn out so badly after all. But Michael Keaton's presence, he can be a threat, and he can also be a nice guy, and he can be this and that, so he's proven that. And of course Christian Bale. But anyway, Jesse Eisenberg, odd choice. The other casting news with regards to this Batman vs. Superman film is, and his name just escaped me for a second there, Jeremy Irons. There you go. Jeremy Irons will play Alfred the Butler. So those are two casting additions. Now, Jeremy Irons could do that. He could do that beautifully. Is that the role I would have thought of first for him to do? I don't know, because it's not always the most central character to this, to any Batman franchise, really. I don't know about the comic books. So I always haven't been aware of Bruce Wayne's dutiful servant, but anyway, there you have it. That's the casting news with regards to that. I'm not sure people are losing their cojones over this casting decision, unlike Ben Affleck, but we'll see. And the other news is regarding Star Wars. Again, not Star Wars Episode 7, but rather, wait for it, EW, Entertainment Weekly, announced that they have it from sources that Han Solo and Boba Fett are characters we will see in spin-off films. Spin-off films. So, new adventures with these characters. So it's not enough just to have the Star Wars Episode 7 idea. Now which is not necessarily a bad idea, but now standalone films, I don't know how that's going to work. I think what Disney's trying to do is milk this franchise for what it's worth and to expand it, because they want to make money. But I don't agree with this. I think it's one thing when you write fiction that is in book form, and there's been several books regarding the adventures of Han Solo and Chewbacca and some other characters, but this is just not. I don't think this is a good idea, people. No, I don't want a standalone film with Boba Fett. And how's that work? Is it really just Boba Fett, or is it the Boba Fetts, or is it the whole Fett family? I don't. And Han Solo, I mean, are they going to show Han Solo when he was younger, or Boba Fett when he was younger? Is that what we want to see? I don't think so. I don't. And I'm a Star Wars fan. I'm not a super fan, but I'm a fan. And I think, no, no, no. You know what would be best is if they do what they did with the Big Bang Theory in this yesterday's episode, which is to bring back certain characters that you would love to see and show them in abbreviated form, if you like, cameos. James Earl Jones showed up on The Big Bang Theory, and it was a great little role for him. And Carrie Fisher showed up very briefly. And I think if you're going to do Boba Fett, have someone dressed up as Boba Fett and have some film where Sheldon imagines a Boba Fett solo film. And that's about as much as I would want to see rather than a feature film, if you get my drift. That's the news with that. Good God, I always wonder, what is it that people think in Hollywood? What ideas really do they consider are good ideas? This is just not a good one. Again, I don't object to a new Star Wars film, but a standalone spin-off of Boba Fett, no, absolutely not. No, and Han Solo, it just doesn't make any sense to me, but that's the nature of things, and the way things are going now with this type of announcement, I think what's going to happen is, with regards to Indiana Jones, which of course there have been some rumors that they're going to do something with it, whether it is a fifth film or not, and they said don't expect a fifth film for 2 to 3 years now. They're probably going to try something similar. You know what it is? I think what's going to happen with Indiana Jones, they're just going to, as they say, reboot the entire franchise and start fresh and cast somebody. But those are just my 2 cents. I don't know. Yeah. This is just awful. Anyway, better news is director Philip Seymour Hoffman, actor too, but he's doing a new film called Ezekiel Moss. This will star Jake Gyllenhaal and Amy Adams. It's set during the Depression, follows a young boy living in a small town. He becomes friends with a mysterious drifter played by Jake Gyllenhaal, who appears to be able to communicate with the dead. And Amy Adams, who of course has also been in Man of Steel's Lois Lane, will play the boy's widowed mother. You know what? Here's the thing, okay? Why doesn't Hollywood just say, you know what, let's try something different. Let's stop rebooting certain franchises or milking something for what it's worth. I mean, Star Wars is a hot commodity, don't get me wrong, but the clone, if you want proof of why, if people always turn out for a new Star Wars film, the answer is not always, unless it's of quality. The Clone Wars is a good example, okay? Not Episode 1. I'm talking about the Clone Wars animated feature, horrible film. And my review is somewhere on my page, and that's all I got to say about that. But at this point, all these blockbusters, it's just insane. But some I look forward to more than others. Others you just wonder, Ben Affleck is actually a good director. He can do something else. He doesn't have to play Batman, but that's just my 2 cents. And this is Jerry to Movies, as the host for Entertainment Pipeline. Signing off.